Good afternoon, everybody, and thank you so very much for joining me live during this Facebook Live broadcast. I'm your friend, Johnny Cash, and I have some things on my mind I'd like to share with everybody. And at the same time, I'm going to make a very serious effort to be responsive to any questions or thoughts that may arise in your mind during the course of this presentation. Cardi Lee, good to see you. Ricky Tyson, my main man, we go back, oh my God, 35, 40 years. We sang together in a group, positioning ourselves to do some great things in the near future. So here's what I have. I'm going to start with saying this. I'm going to dedicate today's event to my future late mother-in-law, Bernice Haynes. More about her in just a few moments. I have a couple of notes here, and I don't particularly use notes when I'm speaking publicly for two reasons. I'm generally very, very inspired with respect to my topic before the event, and then number two, it's difficult to follow notes once you get started, given the fact that usually, well, not usually, if I'm going to speak on the subject matter, I'm pretty conversant in that subject matter. So I don't require notes, but just for today, for the sake of today, I did bring a couple of notes because in those notes are material that I would like to share with everybody. Hey, Valerie, thanks for stopping by and saying hi. So let's get started, shall we? I recently attended my fiance's mother's transition celebration, and at that celebration we were all given a wristband, and this is mine, and this is to bring awareness to respiratory cancer, and each band had a word on it. And if you can see my band, mine says hope, H-O-P-E. Okay, so this happened on, so today is Friday. This happened on Wednesday. And I had a couple of days to think about the connection between me receiving a band with hope on it versus receiving a band with a different word on it. Okay? Javier, my main man, how you doing, brother? So good to see you. Thank you for chiming in with us. So I'm thinking, why did I receive the band that says hope? And so I thought about it, right? I said hope. Okay. Hope is a picture. It's a picture of a future event. Something in the future that your heart desires. And you make a picture in your imagination, which is the cookie cutter of the mind. That's right. Your imagination is the cookie cutter of the mind. I said, okay, what else do we know about hope? Well, there's a passage of scripture in the Bible, in the King James 1611 edition of the Bible. To be more precise, it's in the book of Hebrews. The chapter is 11. The verse is number 1. And it reads like this. Now, faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. Now, let's talk about that. In another translation, we get this rendering. Faith gives substance to things hoped for, being the evidence of things not seen with the physical eye. So then, with what eye, pray tell, are the things hoped for being seen with the eye of faith? What is faith? In a nutshell, faith is focus. Once you've done all of the analysis, all of the research, interpreting the Greek language, and deciding on what interpretation resonates with you, at the end of all discussion, once the smoke finally clears, faith is simply your ability to keep your mind on your objective. And that is what we call focus. And that's faith. Now, Hebrews 11:1 tells us what that ability does. That ability to keep your mind stayed on your objective, i.e. focus, it gives substance to what you have conjured in your mind as your objective, right? Faith gives substance to what you have cut out in your imagination as being your goal. Okay? Faith gives substance to what you have determined will be your future reality. Right? That's what faith does. Okay, so now, let's talk about hope again, because hope is the central theme of my presentation today. I want us to get a deep understanding of what hope is, so that, as Jesse Jackson says, we can keep hope alive. But in doing so, we will remove it from the realm of slogan, right? And bring it closer to home, where we live, right where you are sitting now. Okay, so then, hope. All right. I thought about this very deeply. This thing about giving substance to hope. This thing about giving substance to our mental objective. And at a meeting last night with one of my Illuminati brothers from Colombia, we were having a conversation about quantum mechanics. Yeah, I know. That's a huge subject, right? But let me give it to you in a nutshell. Okay? Let me give it to you in a nutshell. Okay. Quantum mechanics is something that deals with how very small objects operate. Okay? Very small objects. also called quantum physics. Okay. Thanks for the thumbs up. Appreciate that, Val. Now, in order to really get a grip on or be able to wrap your mind around quantum physics or quantum mechanics, let's lay a foundation, shall we? Let's talk about classical physics or classical mechanics, if you will. Okay? There was a gentleman by the name of Sir Isaac Newton who, quote unquote, laid the foundation to the world's understanding of classical physics, right? Okay, so what Newton said is that objects exist in a specific place at a specific time. Let me say that again. In classical physics, it is said that all objects exist in a specific place and at a specific time. Okay? So, the bird cage that you're sitting next to with your parakeets in it, that is a specific object, and it exists in a specific place at a specific time, according to Newtonian physics, according to classical physics. Okay? So we're laying a foundation for something powerful now, so just bear with me. In quantum physics, things are a little bit different in that objects exist within a field of possibilities. They have a chance of being at point A, another chance of being at point B, and so on. So in quantum physics, nothing is in any given place at any given time. And they have proven this scientifically. All right? So that is why quantum physics or quantum mechanics becomes the study of it, right? Becomes a must for each and every one of you. For everyone who's viewing this presentation today, I want you to get your copy of Quantum Physics or Quantum Mechanics for Dummies, or An Idiot's Guide to Quantum Physics or Quantum Mechanics. I say that because that particular series of books is absolutely excellent in their approach to explaining whatever the subject matter is that is being examined within the covers of those pages. Okay? So definitely you want to have that in your repertoire. All right? Okay, so now let's move on. I'm going to back up for a minute and say this. In quantum mechanics, you find what is also known as quantum metaphysics. All right? They also are calling it quantum mysticism. Okay? All right. Now, what do we mean by that? What we mean by that is that it is the conclusion of a strong number of scientists in the quantum physics or quantum mechanics community that behind the activity of all of the elements that create this universe is an intelligent principle that some refer to as God. Okay? That component is absent in classical physics, Newtonian physics, there is no mention of a mind, if you will, that underlies all beings and things in the known and the unknown universe. Okay? All right. Now, if during the course of my presentation anyone has a question or would like for me to, clarify or elaborate on anything that I've said thus far, please feel free to, type your question up and I'll be happy to answer it. Okay? Now, okay. So, against the backdrop of what I've just shared with you about the mental component in quantum mechanics or quantum physics, let me now make reference to some ancient principles. All right? Principles that were promulgated and disseminated by our ancestors during ancient times in their ancient traditional priesthood societies. Okay? All right. One of those principles is that the universe is mental. That's right. That is one of the fundamental principles, that the universe is mental. Now, the priesthoods of India said like this: Om Mane Padme Hum. Om Mane Padme Hum. Translated into English, that means all is mind. Mind is all. Interesting, wouldn't you say? Okay, so now, if the teachings of the ancients resonate with you, then you absolutely owe it to yourself to begin your studies in quantum mechanics and quantum physics. The study of it is going to enable you to have a deeper understanding of how the universe really works. And with that understanding, you'll have a better grasp, right, as to how your world works, your life, your world, and your affairs, you see. Another principle that our ancients taught is as above, so below. Meaning that the same way that things operate in the heavens, in the celestial realms, correspondingly so, they operate in the world of man, within your body, within your being, within your constitution. Okay? I'm going to do a special presentation on your own constitution. As a matter of fact, I've done one already on the fourfold constitution of man. Okay? And whenever I say man, I'm referencing male and female, men and women. Okay? All right. So then, the as above, so below principle enables us to observe nature and understand ourselves better, right? The as above, so below principle enables us to study ourselves and understand the forces of nature better, okay? So, because of the law of as above, so below, anything that you study about anything really has a direct relationship with anything else in the universe. If you study man, you can better understand what's going on out in the universe. If you study the universe, you better understand what is going on in man. Okay, so now let's move forward. Let's go back to our principle of all is mind, mind is all. All right? And let's connect that with what our quantum physicists and quantum mechanics are saying about that principle underlying the universe, that being an intelligence. Okay? All right. There is a knowledge base that everything I share with people or everything I teach is grounded in. And I call it occult anatomy. Occult is not a dirty word. Occult is not an evil word. Occult does not mean anything negative or anything that is used to hurt people. Occult, the root of occult is the same root for your eye, ocular, to see. Right? Okay. So occult alludes to something that cannot be seen. It is occult. It is not seen. All right? Can you see your heart? No. So in relation to your eyes, your heart is an occult entity. It is an unseen reality that is a part of your very being. In fact, you separate your heart from your being, you cease to be. All right? What did Shakespeare say? To be or not to be? That is the question, right? Well, I'm going to keep my heart. I'm going to remain a man with a big heart, and I'm going to be big. I'm going to be in a big way with my big heart. Okay. And you can do likewise. All right. So now, okay. So occult anatomy then means the hidden anatomy. The hidden anatomy of what? Let me say it to you this way. I recall one day I was at the Johnny Coleman Institute here in Chicago, one of America's foremost metaphysical institutions. I remember as though it were yesterday. I was 16 years old, and I was in the library. Well, they called the bookstore the library, or they used to. Now it's the bookstore. But I was there, and I saw a book titled "You Are God" by Mary. Okay, so I share that with you because when we talk about the occult anatomy of what, right? I'm talking about the occult anatomy of you as God. That's right. That's right. And the sevenfold foundation upon which I base all of my teaching, okay? Anything that I would share with anybody or the world is rooted in this sevenfold foundation. Ted McDaniel, so good to see you, bro. Thank you so much for chiming in, partner. Love you, man. Okay? Everything that I share with people is grounded in what I learned as a member of the nation of gods and earth. And they gave it to us like this. Okay? I'm going to give it to you straight with no chaser. This is how I received it. This is how I'm going to give it to you. Okay? Now, we can translate the principle that we have learned and that we have mastered in whatever manner that will suit the occasion. Okay? But for the purpose of respect to the source of my knowledge, I'm going to start this thing off by giving it to you the way that it was given me. All right, and this is how it goes. There are 7 planes of energy manifested by and through the black man's mind, by which he shows and proves that he is God. I'm going to say that one more time. There are 7 planes of energy manifested by and through the black man's mind, by which he shows and proves that he is God. Now, I'm going to let that soak in on you. Okay? Now, I've already said, anytime I say man, I'm including the woman. So then, the foundation of this universe is that there are 7 planes of energy, that our consciousness has the ability to direct. And in that process, you show the world and prove to the world that you are God. That's big. That's very big. Now, my son and my daughter, we like to play with this concept of they don't want you to know that. They don't want you to know that. You know, every once in a while we might, talk about something and, somebody might say, yeah, they don't want you to know that. Or, yeah, that's one of those things that they don't want you to know. Well, whoever they are, right, they definitely don't want you to know that you are God. Why is that? Well, hell, if you're God, who needs a politician? Oh my God, my godfather just weighed in. Alafia Edi Oba Shalom is watching. I am so humble. Alafia, my brother. Now listen to this. This is powerful because I have just restored you, the king and the queen, back to your throne with this revelation. That's right. There are 7 planes of energy manifested by and through the black man's mind by which he shows and proves that he is God. If your friends could see you now, once you wrap your brain around that idea. Yes. If the politicians could see you now, once you wrap your brain around that idea. Damn Donald Trump, what he's doing, what he's not doing, who he's screwing, who he's not screwing, who's screwing him in government, out of the Oval Office. Who cares? Because at the end of the day, you are Donald's daddy. At the end of the day, you are the Donald's mama because you are God. And with your mind, you have the power to harness and access and direct and control the 7 planes of energy that exist throughout the entire universe. That's your power. Okay? And that was God's dream for you. There's power for your hour when you esteem God's dream. God's dream is not too big for anybody, people. God's dream fits. Yes. Say yes to God's dream for you. God made you in the image and likeness of itself. I say itself because we have no word in the English language that addresses the male and female component. So when referring to the deity or divinity or divine mind, we use it. Metaphysicians use it when we are speaking of that being in English. Other languages are different. But right now, unfortunately, I'm limited in that I know English. Okay? And I also know English enough to know that there are no words that will give you a proper masculine and feminine awareness of the Supreme Being. So we have to use the term it. It's unfortunate, but guess what? It is what it is. My main man, Billy King Mufasa Clint, has just chimed in. Brother, so great to see you. Tony Grant, thank you so much for chiming in with us. Really appreciate you. Okay? So you're God. Understand that today. I'm not going to take it back because I can't take you off the throne. You've been off the throne too long. All right? It's time for you to rule again. That's right. Yeah. Let's get on back to the good old days when gods walked the earth, when gods ruled the earth. We can be restored to the golden age of our existence when we embrace what I have just shared with you about those 7 planes of energy. Okay, now, having said that, let's move fast forward. The first plane of energy is called the mental plane. The second plane of energy is called the physical plane. The third plane is called the emotional plane. The fourth plane is called the plane of will. The fifth plane is called the plane of realization. The sixth plane is called the plane of control. And the seventh plane is called the infinite plane. All right, now, there are corresponding levels of mind that access those planes. Okay. Now, having said that, in between the plane and the levels of mind that correspond to the plane, there is a bridge that connects the two. Thank you so very much, Brother Lafayette. I appreciate those cosmic greetings. Connecting the two is a bridge, which I call it a cosmological transducer. Now I'm going to give you a homework assignment. You look up the word transducer, right? Okay. Now I'm going to simplify that right now and say that between the plane of energy and the corresponding mental level, there is an access point. Okay. So, in other words, there is a technology that you must learn, become proficient in, become an adept in, a master of, so that the corresponding level of mind can now access that corresponding plane of energy. Yeah, watch this. So, on your first plane of energy, Daily Demetrius, thank you so much for chiming in with us. On that first plane of energy, the access point is the knowledge and the technology of activating your 12 chakras. Oh yeah, that's right. Now, the Illuminati does not call them chakras. The Illuminati speaking the English language, okay? So whenever Illuminati are using English, they refer to these as psychic centers, okay? And there are 12 of them. You have 7 major and 5 minor. Same as in any musical scale. You have 12 notes in the science of music, right? So you have 12 chakras. You have 12 psychic centers. And it is that knowledge of activating these psychic centers that elevates you to the mental plane of energy through the mental state, which corresponds to it, called the conscious mind. So now I have just defined for you the conscious community. Oh my God. Yeah. The conscious community consists of all of those individuals who have become illuminated by virtue of having activated, and from that process have been empowered to operate at all levels of their psychic centers consciously. Consciously. Now, let me explain something to you. There are teachers out there in our community. Well, I'm gonna say that different. I know of one particular teacher, Brother Solis. I love that brother. Very wise young brother. I heard him make a comment to the effect that your chakras are already activated. And that's true. But what is also true is that you are not conscious of the activity of your chakras. And that is what your work is. That's the work that you have to put in order for you to become conscious. Because even though your chakras are already activated, if you're not conscious of the activity, you are still unconscious. And that is the work that we must put in so that we can elevate our consciousness to the conscious level of mind, so that the mental level of energy becomes freely accessible to our conscious mind. Because before you are able to function consciously with your 12 psychic centers, only your subconscious mind has access to those 12 chakras or those 12 psychic centers. Now, this is the great work of your various secret societies. And religion pretends to be about that work. LaQuinta Mason, thank you so much for the thumbs up. I really appreciate that. Okay? Now, religion unfortunately gets in the way of your progress when they pretend to have what you need, but they don't bring it. They don't bring it. They're not bringing it. The only thing that religion brings is the offering plate. Well, hey, I'm offering plated out. I really am. And I'm inclined to think that you are as well. Okay? So for all of us who are offering plated out, listen to your brother Johnny Cash give you the real deal. All right? Okay. So now, your 12 psychic centers have a corresponding organ within your body. And all of these except one corresponds to a part of what is called your endocrine system. The only psychic center that does not correspond to your endocrine system is your solar plexus. It is the one that is, it corresponds to your nervous system, not your endocrine system, but it is still one of the psychic centers. Okay, so you have 11 psychic centers that directly correspond with your endocrine system, and one, again, the solar plexus, which totally corresponds to your nervous system. All right, but they are all in the same family of your 12 chakras or your 12 psychic centers. Okay, so this is what I'm getting at, people. I don't care what you have to do. Make it happen. Go find a yoga master that can give you the technology of activating your 12 chakras or your psychic centers. I don't care what you call them. In Sanskrit, they call them chakras. All right? Because they're vortexes of energy. In English, we call them psychic centers because they are centers. They're still vortexes, but we use the word center. Okay? It doesn't take away or add to what term that they use in Sanskrit. It's just a different language. We're talking about the same identical thing. All right. So I don't care if you go to a yoga master. If you want to become a Sufi, they call them Latifahs. Okay. So now you understand why Queen Latifah chose her name. Okay. Okay. Latifahs or Latifs. All right. Find a Sufi master. Okay. They call them sheikhs. Okay, Google a sheikh in your neighborhood, in your city. If you're in Chicago, Google sheikhs in the city of Chicago. I can tell you right now, Minister Louis Farrakhan is a sheikh. Yes. Yes, he is. Yes, he is. He is also. No, my spirit just told me not to say that. He is a sheikh. He is absolutely a sheikh. And you have other sheikhs in the city of Chicago. Okay? You got them in Houston. You have them in every major city. Okay? And as quiet as it is kept, a Sufi master or Sufism has nothing to do with Islam. If you thought it did, let me undeceive you. I was sharing with some friends last night that Sufism is the ancient Egyptian priesthood of Amun-Ra that infiltrated Islam in order to evolve that religion to its next level. All right? So, when you become a Sufi, you don't have to become a Muslim. And any Sufi master will tell you that. All right? When you are initiated into a Sufi order, you know, they ask you, are you a Muslim? Have you embraced Islam? If you say no, they tell you no problem, because you can embrace, they call it embracing Islam of the heart. Okay? Meaning that you bear witness in your heart that God is all there is. There's nothing else. That is a divine secret, people. That there exists no good and evil. What did I say earlier, brothers and sisters? Our Indian brothers and sisters who are yoga masters in the Sanskrit language, they said best, Om Mani Padme Hum. All is mind. Mind is all. All is God. God is all. Okay? Let me tell you how the Sufis in the Nation of Islam say it. Yes, the Nation of Islam is a Sufi order. That's why they refer to Farad Muhammad as master. Because in the Sufi order, the head is the master. He's the master teacher. He has the master teaching. That's right. Okay? Now, so, Master Farad Muhammad, the Nation of Islam is a Sufi order. And this is how they say it. Man is mind, and mind is God. That's right. That's right. Okay. Okay. Somebody just made an observation. Qigong masters as well. Okay. If you want to study the science of Qigong, hey, go for it. Okay. In fact, Google what masters have the science of activating the chakras or the psychic centers, the 12 chakras or the 12 psychic centers. Okay? You have a number of secret societies, right? The Masonic order does it. But in American Freemasonry, you don't get it until you've received the 33rd degree. Well, American Masonry won't initiate women, so the women can't get it unless you join what we call occult masonry or co-masonry, where they initiate men and women on equal footing. Okay? So, Google if you want to become a Freemason, where they initiate men and women equally. Women receive the same degrees that the men do. They get the same initiation, get the same passwords, grips, signs of recognition, and teaching. Okay? And this particular Masonic jurisdiction is called Le Droit Humain. That's French. Le Droit. L-A, next word, D-R-O-I-T, last word, H-U-M-A-I-N. Le Droit Humain. Okay? And when you type it up on Google, they're going to give you the website. When you get to the website, click on your state, and they will connect you with a co-Masonic occult lodge in your state. Okay? All right. They also have the technology of activating the 12 chakras, the 12 psychic centers. Okay? So you need this knowledge by any means necessary. Well, Brother Cash, do you have the science? Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. I'm positioning myself as we speak to work in close concert with my son, Aten. And we're going to establish a retreat where we're going to teach brothers and sisters how to consciously access their 12 psychic centers. And let me tell you who else has it. Your traditional African priesthoods have it. Yes. All of them. All of them. All of them have it. Okay? In the U.S., we're more familiar with the priesthoods emanating from Nigeria as well as Angola. Also, Colombia, Cuba, Brazil. Okay? As well as your quote-unquote Native American indigenous priesthoods. They have the technology as well. Okay. Daly just asked me about energy diets. Would you clarify the question, please? Energy diets. Oh, okay. So the first thing that comes to mind when we say energy diets, you definitely want to diet television. I was listening to a millionaire recently, and he said he turned off the television for a year, and when he did it, he became a millionaire. He was broke as hell until he fasted television. He went on a television energy diet for a year. And when he did that, the boy blew up. He became a multi-millionaire. You know why he did? Because it goes back to what we were talking about earlier. He was now able to focus. Right? Now faith, now focus gives substance to things hoped for. If you can't focus because everything and everybody got your mind, got your attention split up, you can't give any substance to your objectives. That's most of y'all's problem. You can't focus. A lot of you are people pleasers. You stop your entire world as soon as somebody else knocks on your door or calls your phone. Everything else gets put on hold while you're addressing somebody else's shit. Ain't that too bad? And you all fucked up, and you understand, and you crying, why me? And you praying to some mystery God someplace in some great by and by that can't hear none of your prayers because you don't even have the faith to send a prayer up because you can't even focus on God. Because if you could, you'd focus on what I've shared with you, and you would realize that you are the God that you've been praying to all this time. Yes. So now, the science of prayer involves a process of not intercommunication between you and some mystery being out in the sky in the great by and by, but rather intra-communication. Communication between the various subsystems which comprise your being, right? You're engaging, in other words, in self-talk. There's a scripture in the Bible that says, David encouraged himself in the Lord. Lord means divine law. He preached to himself and got his mind right by talking to himself, saying, man, you bigger than this. Man, you God. Man, don't let those people get you off your square, for crying out loud. Stop being a people pleaser all the damn time. Learn to please yourself for once in your life. Yeah. Stevie Wonder said like this: for once in my life, I have someone who needs me, someone who needed so much. Okay, so for once in my life, I have someone who needs me. Who? Me. I need me. Need me to what? To be myself. What is yourself? God is yourself. That's the message, people. God is thyself. Now you understand what Shakespeare said when he said, to thine self be true. To thine own self be true. And it follows at night, follows the day, that you can never be untrue to any other man. Yes. Be true to your God nature. Your God nature is a nature of strength, not weakness. Your God nature is a nature of clarity, not confusion, right? Your God nature is a nature of love, not fear. Yeah, see, you thought I was going to say hate. I fooled you, didn't I? Hate is not the opposite of love. Fear is the opposite of love. Your God nature is a nature of wisdom, not stupidity. Not stupidity. Right? Your God nature is a nature of order, not a nature of chaos. Your God nature is a nature of focus, not a nature of clouded vision. We're talking about your God nature. Somebody made a comment: self-generating energy, foods to change. You know what? The best authority on that subject matter is my main man, my Illuminati friend, Ra-Un-Nefer Amen, who wrote the Metu-Neter series. I'd like to refer you to Metu-Neter Volume 1, where he breaks down the 7 days a week and the corresponding energies and what foods that one should partake of in order to harness those 7 levels of energy. Okay, so now we're talking about activating your 7 major chakras, right? The 7 major chakras. The energy system that the universe has given me, it was given to me during a period of illumination that took place over a period of 9.5 years. And it was during that period that I received the ancient calendar of our people, consisting of 13 months and 28 days. Each one of those months corresponds to one of your chakras or one of your psychic centers, and then the other month corresponds to your God self. So in my system, on our retreat, we're going to teach people what chakra corresponds with each of the 12 months, and which, and the 13th month, we're going to teach you how to access your God self during the 13th month, which actually is the first month, right? So in my system, the chakras are activated from the top down, not from the bottom, people, right? Yes. So we start with first month, and we work on for 28 days on your God center, right? And then the second month, for 28 days, we're done with the 12th chakra. Next month, the next 28 days, the 11th chakra, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, baby. Blast off godhood in 13 months. Yes. Yes. And again, I say yes. Are we having fun yet? All right. So, man, there you go. I likes that. I likes that. Yeah, this is how we do it, okay? So, I have nothing but love for all of my masterful brothers and sisters, irrespective of your race, creed, and color, okay? Because in my book, I explain all of that. I explain the relationship between the original people of Earth and the Europeans. I explain the relationship. We are all a family once we understand the history of our relationship, all right? And a whole lot of healing will take place once we understand that relationship. And I explain this in my book, which is entitled Master Your System 1 by Dr. Cash. It's available at Amazon. It's $10. The book consists of, I believe, 6 pages, and the most powerful little book you will ever read in your life, people. It will take you from zero to a hero within 45 minutes, because that's how long it takes to read the book. Yes, yes. On the first, by the time you have read the first 5 pages of my book, you will take back your power. I don't know of any author in the world who can make that claim. You buy my book, you read the first 5 pages, I teach you how to take back your power and create a controlled environment. That's right. In order to develop your psychic centers, you must work within a controlled environment. Yes, you must control the environment, because order is heaven's first law. Hey, Jerry. My girl, thank you so much for chiming in with us. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Yeah, yeah. You know, I'm sharing a lot of information today, people, and I can't wait to review the recording of this live broadcast, because I'm sharing some very powerful information with you. Okay? So let me share this with you as well. We were talking about yeah. We were talking about being conscious, right? You become conscious after you have conscious functionality of your 12 chakras or your 12 psychic centers. You have to tap into your 12 chakras with your conscious mind. With your conscious mind. All right? Because until you do that, people, you're only accessing your power in your dreams. Damn, I believe I can fly. How about I know how to fly? That's what time it is, y'all. You can only believe at the subconscious level. You operate in that thing in the conscious level. Now, let me give you the shortest distance between the 2 points. A straight line, right? Learn how to dream on purpose. Learn how to dream consciously. It's called lucid dreaming. I want you to Google lucid dreaming, Lucid. Learn how to dream what you want to dream. You do that, you will accelerate your evolution. You'll accelerate the process of your attainment of self-mastery. Listen to what Shakespeare said. We are the stuff that dreams are made of. Wow. Oh my God. We are the stuff that dreams are made of. Man, I'm getting thumbs up all over the place. Yes. Yes. Thank you, Jerry. Yeah. My good friend, Mr. from Johannesburg. Man, it's so great to see you, my friend. Awesome. Awesome. Powerful and very inspired international businessman, Mr. Tobin. Tony, I need to talk to you. I'm gonna call you between today and tomorrow. Bro. I'm sorry I haven't gotten back with Tuna, but we got a lot of catching up to do. Yep. So, if you learn how to dream on purpose, which is called lucid dreaming, you accelerate the process of your growth and development, your evolution. Okay? We want that. Why do we want that? Because, people, we're on a mission. We have to become gods consciously in no time flat. I remember back in the day, I used to have a recording on my message machine when clients would call. If it was after business hours, they would get my recorded message, and I started off by saying, if your back is against the wall with no visible means of escape, there are two things that you must do to get out of that situation. Number one, get smart. Number two, fast. That's where we are, people. We have to get smart, and we have to do it fast. Yes. Now, the problem with hallucinogens is that you are kicked over into a subconscious experience. It brings your subconsciousness to the forefront. And what your experience becomes is a subconscious exposure to your conscious mind. But it's an indirect exposure. Your conscious mind does not have the ability to participate in the exposure. Therefore, ergo, you lack the conscious ability to grasp hold of the conscious realities. Now, ain't that too bad? That's why people who busy themselves with hallucinogens still don't attain mastery, because they're having a subconscious experience and not a conscious experience. And that's why we need a teacher, a master teacher, an initiator, someone that can consciously guide you through the process of activating your psychic centers, your 12 psychic centers. You see, that is the order of the day, people. That is the order of today. That is the order of the day. You must become God at an accelerated rate. We don't have time to play. Because I don't know if you have noticed, but somebody is trying to kill you. Yes, it's true. So, as enchantment says, where do we go from here, baby? Listen to this. This is your brother Johnny Cash signing off. I want to thank everybody who chimed in with me today to participate in this very, very powerful broadcast. Man, I'm so full. Oh my God. I got nothing but love for y'all. If you missed anything on this broadcast, please listen to the recording of it. Take notes. Google the various subject matters that I made reference to. And we'll do a part 2 of this subject matter in the very near future. I'll give everybody a heads up, probably with part 2 of the broadcast. And of course, Google to say Facebook got my back. They're gonna let everybody know, all 5,000 friends, just like they did today. Michelle, I wish you all the best, sweetie. Thank you so much for chiming in. Listen to the recording. I wish you wide speed. And remember, there's power for your hour when you esteem God's dream. Good evening.